Top of the morning to you. Welcome to our program. We're here in beautiful Elkhart. Today we're focusing on landscape renovation with seasonal color. Mark, it's one thing to do the renovation of a landscape, but quite another to professionally and delicately enter color that lasts through 2 or 3 seasons, right? Or 4.
You're correct, Craig. And that 4th season, of course, is late fall, winter, and early spring. Kind of a time of the year that a lot of people don't think about, but here in Michiana, it's 6 months out of the entire year, and those are the evergreens, and that's the bones of the landscape. Now, one of the biggest challenges that we see is, especially when our do-it-yourself customers come into the garden center, they gravitate towards everything that's in bloom at that time of the year.
It'd be natural to do that, right?
Absolutely. And they kind of pass over the things that are not in bloom.
Sure.
And then it's not until the following year that they realize that they only had 1 season of color.
Whoops.
Absolutely. So our job is to be able to provide nonstop color throughout all the seasons.
Now this is a beautiful home that we're featuring today, a home that's been around for 20, 25 years. Your first visit here, what did you find? What kinds of challenges were here when you arrived?
Well, 20, 25 years is about the life expectancy of a landscape. Not everything is getting tired, but what we did was walk around and talked about what we could repurpose and have extended life. A lot of perennials have been transplanted here. We did some major pruning and trimming. And the goal was to blend new plants in with existing plants, so you really can't tell what was just recently added.
You trick us every week, Mark Linton. You can't tell what's been brought in and what's been here.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Such a great job.
Well, thank you.
Well, let's start here in the corner.
Okay.
What do you say?
Absolutely. So right here in the corner, we've got this beautiful magnolia tree, and we did some serious pruning to that. Opened it up. It was starting to kind of hide the house. We've got some dwarf burning bush. We actually were able to heavily prune those, cut them down into half, and that isn't something that you can do with all trees and shrubs, but the burning bush are very forgiving.
Cutting them down to half.
Half the size.
Wow.
And it gives them a nice fresh new look.
See, I wouldn't have even known that you did that there. It looks like something maybe you brought in that was new.
Right, right. And then what you see here up against the house, this window is one of the architectural features, and we didn't want to hide that. Actually, the previous plantings here were hiding it. We took them out. We're framing that bay window with a couple of Wichita blue junipers, giving us some height, but not a lot of width. It perfectly fits the architecture there. And then a little dwarf boxwood hedge, which is always going to stay below the base of those windows.
Little dwarf means low maintenance, right?
You're correct.
Yeah. What else here, Mark?
Well, in front of it, and we always like to do a nice layered look, these are variegated azaleas, and they put on a beautiful show this spring. They bloom with hot pink colored flowers. And then we've got perennial flowers here. We've got coral bells here in the front, a couple of different varieties of coral bells, which of course attract both hummingbirds and butterflies. And the stilbees are just coming into their glory right now with their spikes of pink flowers.
I always like those coral bells. The color that they show is fantastic, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. What's next?
Well, on the other side of the sidewalk here, again, we've got a bank of 3 windows. We wanted to have lower plantings there. And so we added some boxwoods for some winter interest. A little bit of height here with the dwarf Alberta spruce to the right of the front door. And then a unusual dwarf type of spruce called a columnar Norway spruce. A very tall, slender evergreen that eventually I'd like to see get up to be about 10, 12 feet in height. This is the 2-story part of the house. We need the height there.
Yeah, and you will get that over time, won't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
Now these boxwoods were here, and they're great for the bones of the landscape. The knockout roses with those beautiful pink flowers, those are blooming nonstop all spring, all summer, all fall.
And across the driveway, some more interest over here as you kind of corner off the property in
Well,
the front.
this was something else that we did some heavy pruning in that. This was an existing hydrangea, but it was way out of control. We actually chopped that back, so it was about half the size. Transplanted some perennials, hostas, stilbees, and then this side of the garage basically had a blank canvas. There's no windows here.
Serious.
Seriously. And so we brought in the Wichita blue junipers. Those are going to give us some height and soften that side of the garage.
It almost takes on a garden-like feel here, doesn't it?
Well, thanks for noticing.
Yeah. Now, you've done some work for Gabriella and for Robert, even in the back, haven't you?
Oh, they've got a beautiful backyard. Let's go back there and share that with the viewers.
Okay. Well, we are in the backyard here. Robert and Gabriella, so kind to invite us to their beautiful home. They've done such a marvelous job here. You would not know, Mark, that this home is 25 years old, would you?
No, absolutely not. And prior to us coming in here, they had done major renovation, updating on the inside of the house, and then the exterior, just prior to starting the planting, they've got new siding and a new roof. So basically, we've got a new house here.
Yes, we do. And you know, we've talked so many times, Mark, about landscaping and what you do at Linton's is not really being an expense, it's an investment, and this is a perfect example about what we're talking about here. It adds to the total value of this home.
And the homeowners, they recognize that and they value it. It's a very large family, and they're blessed with lots of grandkids, and this is kind of the central meeting point. They got this lovely pool here, and so many times when I've been here working with them, it's been a very busy backyard.
Now, Gabriella loves doing the gardening herself. She loves working with the plants, the trees, and the shrubs. You came in here and just did a little backfill, right? Kind of freshened up a little bit.
There were some things that she could not handle, and basically that involved some removal of the larger things. We also wanted some privacy from the neighbors, and so we put in some larger plants there as a buffer. But 100% of the credit goes to Gabriella with all these beautiful planters. She's from Barcelona here, and she loves the tropical look and feel. So we've got these urns filled with beautiful flowers and banana trees.
Yeah, I know you encourage your guests to get involved like Gabriella has been involved. You encourage that, don't you?
Absolutely. You know, she loves getting her hands in the dirt there. So
she's done a great job, and we're going to find out more now as we chat with her. Gabriella, just tickled about your work, Mark.
Well, thank you.
Gabriella joins us now. Gabriella, congratulations on a beautiful job. You do a lot of the work yourself. I know you've had some help from the Linton's people coming out. Yes. Mark and his staff have done a great job. What do you like most about their work so far?
Well, it's just so refreshing. The garden started to get a little tired. We tweaked it here and there through the years, but it needed a professional hand and somebody like Mark that comes and make the whole process so easy and so friendly, and it helps you with ideas. I have my own ideas. I love flowers, but I'm getting tired and weary too. So it was great to have Mark and design it and say, well, why don't we tweak it here and there and do this and that. So that it looks so much fresher and airy, and I have more flowers than what I used to.
It is gorgeous. Now, you grew up with a deep appreciation for plants, trees, and shrubs, right?
I did. I certainly did, yeah.
Did your mom have something to do with that?
Yes. We had a lot of flowers and trees at home, and my parents being European descendants, so they have my grandparents all from Europe, so we had a lot of fruit trees at home, and figs, my favorite, and I have 2 now here. But having all those things growing up, it just makes you appreciate them more when you can have them with this type of climate.
And it probably makes you appreciate more what Linton's does, too, with a deep appreciation already, and then them coming in, they've got to get it right, don't they?
Yes, absolutely. And even if the plants, you can't help it, you put the plants in, they do their best job, but sometimes the weather, you cannot work with that, and if something didn't quite take on, they come and change it, no problem, and fix it, and it's just great. It just makes a huge difference.
So a heartfelt endorsement for Linton's. Now, Gabriella, I'm going to tell a little secret here, if you don't mind, all right?
Okay.
And we'll cut this if it's bad or embarrassing, all right? So don't worry about it.
It is already.
Okay. Now, you're someone who likes to get your hands dirty. You love working in your yard, but you are not at all affected by poison ivy. Is that correct?
It is. It is. So far, so good. Of course, tomorrow, who knows? But yeah, I can touch it and pick it and grab it with bare hands and nothing happens.
Why is that, do you think? That's outstanding. I just look at it and I get poison ivy.
I don't know. Either a tough cookie or very bad skin that doesn't affect by anything. I don't know.
Well, you might be a tough cookie, but you're a beautiful gal, and we're going to bring Mark in. I know he has high appreciation for what you've done here. Mark, what do you have for us?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Just like to thank Gabrielle and Robert for allowing us to feature their beautiful home here and allowing us to share all this with the viewers, and wanted to give this to
Thank
two of
you. Thank you. These are beautiful, and actually they remind me home. There are a few of these flowers that I don't know if Mark knew this, but my mom had this in the garden. And Josephine's, is that what you call it?
Yes, yes.
And the callas, we had that in our garden too. So that reminds me a lot of home.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Gabrielle, if there is one thing, though, that you can put your finger on that you really, really like the best out of everything that Mark and his crew has done, what was that?
I think the whole process, not just the plants, but the process, it was very nice.
Wow.
It was just very, very nice to work with them. And I honestly say that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this.
Very good. Well, thank you, and thanks to your husband, Robert, too.
Thank you.
You've been great hostesses today, and we appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for coming and doing this.
right.
Appreciate it.
Mark, thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
Plenty more coming up on the program, so don't go away. We'll be back right after this.